Okay, so we're going to start off doing the turquoise, which will look something like this in our sample, which I will photograph and send to you. I have just grabbed a piece of turquoise beads out of my bead supply so that you can see that all the turquoise is different. So what we do is kind of represent it however we want in respects to the veining, but it's important that we have the veins so that people see it as turquoise, otherwise they may not. So I'm going to start off with a templated oval. Remember, we're doing a cab. I'm going to actually go in and weight this line a little bit. Because it's oval, core shadow is from here up to here a bit further. We're going to deepen this just a smidge in here. There we go. So we have a nice weighted line to start. And that'll give us target. And again, I used blue. Don't do this in pencil. And I'm going to just use this one as my sample. And then I'm going to begin standard sort of shading, making it a cab first with my light blue. This is a light cerulean blue. You just need to use something similar. Turquoise comes in many different colors, so it's not like you have to do this exact color. And again, this is just to give me an idea of how I'm shading it and where my highlights are going to go and all of that sort of stuff. Now this is my core shadow coming here, so this side is going to come up. And because it's a blue stone and it's opaque, the whole thing needs to be blue. So I'm going to actually go over the whole thing right now. Oh, except for I'm going to be putting in my core highlight right here. And I'm doing it in white first so that I remember where it is, and I can use that as the center of my core highlight when I'm done. So it's very light over the whole surface, and now I'm going to start giving it some dimension, deepening it on this side. It's got a curve this way. Remember that this is from a side view. This stone is actually like this because it's a cab. So there is not much of a reflected light on this. Now I'm going to go into a blue, true blue. It's just a slightly darker blue, and I'm going to put in my core shadow. Come off the edge just a little bit with it. Remember, the less of a curve that a stone has, the closer to the edge your core shadow has. If it's perfectly flat on the bottom, core shadow will be right on the edge. So I'm going to work this up now. And you can see how it's starting to take shape. I'm actually finding it difficult to see what I'm doing with this bright light, which is great for you guys, not so great for me. Now we don't want this to go up too far before it flattens out, because the top of the stone is basically flat. So that's the beginning of it. Now this is just a little bit of indigo, and I'm just going to deepen this just a little bit over here. Not critical there, but still. And I'm going to use my cerulean to wash it out a bit. Okay, so that's the basis of it. It's light blue with bit of tone. Again, it does not have to be these exact colors. It can be more greeny if you want. And then we just have to look at this and we have to decide on what sort of veining we're going to have. It is, as I said, important that we have some veining. One of the things I can do with the veining is, because this side of this side is my core shadow, if I want to enhance the overall shape, I can deepen this side with my veining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a little bit more veining on this side to give it a little more dimensions. I'm going to start with a little bit of, so this is just my 90% cool gray, and I'm literally just doing little zigzags, sort of joining them together, and I'm going to do a couple from up here. Have some go across the middle. Now, I can overdo this. This is actually a very heavy stone as far as color goes, or inclusions, I mean. You know. Now, to give the inclusions some various depth, I'm going to do some lines that are 70%. As you can see in here, they're not really all the same thickness, they're not all the same color. I actually don't like that one just sitting off alone. There we go. I'm going to reassert this. I'm actually going to give it a little bit more color. I want, this is a little bit of true green. I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or not. Let's see here. Again, the tone changes depending on the type. So I don't know for sure that this true green is the color I'm going to want in the end. But the reality is turquoise. Turquoise comes in many tones. So if I add just a tinge of green here, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. Remember, we're just trying to approximate a turquoise look. We're talking about communicating here, right? So we're communicating the idea that it'll be turquoise. It's not going to be all the same. I'm just going to now go over that green, a bit more blue. That's just going to bring it all together, hopefully. Now I'm going to deepen my drop edge here. We don't need to do drop shadows, cast shadows on this project. If you want to do a cast shadow, you can, you just add a little bit along this side here, just to set it on a table or whatever. It's not absolutely necessary. I'm not going to mark it, so don't bother if you don't feel like it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my white again, and I'm going to smooth it around a bit here. And I'm basically smudging together everything nicely. So I'm using my white as a smudge tool, essentially. Now, you'll notice that it's gone in and it's destroyed my grays a little bit for my, the white has smudged my texture lines in here and in here, which is fine because I'm going to add now, go in and add a bit more, just right over top of them. so that I have different levels of lines, so that some of them are brighter and some of them are, darker than others. And you want these to go, some of them at least, to go right to the edge. And then you can go back in with your paintbrush, a little bit of gouache. Easier to do. That's it, right there. A little easier to do when you have a stone to look at, because you can get an idea. Is this exactly like that stone? No, it's not. That's not my goal. My goal is to graphically represent a turquoise. And if my client can understand that that's turquoise when I say that it's turquoise, then that's what I want. Okay, that's it for the turquoise.